Hi, Fred.
Hi, Mr. Benedict. Glad you're here.
Any reporters around yet?
Not so far.
Good.
You asked me whether I'm God, and I said no. Ask me, am I an angel? No. Am I a saint? No.
He's a dirty old man, and he should be locked up for exposing himself.
Sam! Well, how nice to see you.
Cyrus, what the devil are you doing here?
Oh, he seems to have the secret of living. Whatever he knows seems to be more than what we know.
Don't you realize you're making a fool of yourself?
You may be absolutely right, but I don't think so. I became awake today, and when I woke, I discovered that the rest of mankind was asleep. I thought it was time to wake them up.
Poor old man. Poor old man, my foot. He's one of the richest in San Francisco. He's a blasphemous, dirty old man.
Bless you, sister.
Come on, Cyrus.
Yeah, where are we going?
Home.
Not on your life. Listen, if you take me home, I'll be back here in an hour. And I might really shock that lady by showing up in my birthday suit.
Now, Mr. Carter, why don't you behave yourself, be a good boy, and go along with Mr. Benedict? Otherwise, I'll have to take you in for disturbing the peace.
Well, I'm afraid that it's they that's disturbing the peace. I merely came here to sit in the shade and to talk to God.
You wouldn't like me to lock you up and have some judge send you away to the county hospital, would you?
I think that's a splendid idea. I should like that very much.
Cyrus, will you stop it?
No. If I'm not within my legal rights here, why doesn't this good officer perform his duty and let a judge send me to a county hospital for observation? I just want to find out who is crazy around here. Here, have some. There you are. I know. I insist. Come.
Believe he's become a fanatic.
You better believe it, Sam. Sitting under a tree in a toga talking with God is a little offbeat.
If he was sitting under a tree in India saying his prayers, would they book him in the Bombay General Hospital for observation?
It looks like you've got your work cut out for you.
Yeah. You better take care of the Courier arraignment yourself.
Sure.
The defendant will remain at liberty on the bail now posted. Call the next line, please.
Number 162258, Nicholas Coria.
Mr. Coria, I'm Henry Tabor. I'm from the Benedict office.
Nicholas Coria? Is that your true name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tabor, are you representing the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
People of the State of California versus Nicholas Coria in the Municipal Court of the State of California in and for the City and County of San Francisco. The District Attorney of this county accuses Nicholas Coria of a felony, to wit, violation of Section 261 of the Penal Code. In that, on the night of the 20th of May of this year, you did attempt the crime of rape upon the person of a female of the age of 15 years, one Angela Larkin. Do you waive further reading, Mr. Tabor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Nicholas Coria, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Your Honor, may the matter of the plea stand over 1 week until I've had an opportunity to acquaint myself with the facts.
Very well, Mr. Tabor. 1 week from today, 10 o'clock.
Will Your Honor please set bail?
Your Honor, in view of the seriousness of the charge, I request that bail be set at not less than twice the customary amount.
The court is well aware of the seriousness of the charge. Bail is set at $5,000.
Clerk?
10-minute recess.
I'd like a minute, Willie.
Do you have a cigarette?
Not in here.
Forget it. I don't want to go out there with those people out there.
Come on.
I feel dirty, Mr. Tabor. I feel like one of those guys who goes around grabbing little kids.
I want to know the truth, Mr. Correa. Guilty or not guilty?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. They try to explain the laws, and I don't understand them.
After I arrange bail, we'll go back to my office and we'll talk it over.
Right now, I wish I was dead.
Listen to me, Mick. I need your help in getting you out of this situation and in preparing your defense.
Defense? What defense? What chance have I got if she says I did this and I say I didn't? Who are they going to believe, that jury? Me or that sweet little innocent girl?
I can't promise anything. She is a young girl. That makes her someone a jury will be sympathetic with. The fact that Angela Larkin claims you lured her to your apartment with intentions to commit the act, regardless of whether the act was committed or not, is a felony. Now, you may not like the law, but a lot of unsavory people are responsible for the making of that law.
Well, Mr. Tabor, I'm not one of those people. I swear to you, I'm not one of those people.
All right, you'll have to go with the deputy until I can arrange bail. Come on.
Sam, any statement?
I can't tell you fellas anything that you haven't heard in court. Judge Newland evidently has his doubts about Cyrus Carter's sanity. He certified him to the county hospital for examination by a competent psychiatrist.
Yeah, but do you think he's sane?
I'm absolutely sure.
How come you didn't protest?
Because I think any competent psychiatrist will feel the same way I do. You fellas know Hank Tabor?
How you doing?
See you guys later.
What happened, Sam?
The judge didn't request the examination. Cyrus Carter did.
Why?
Well, there's something going on in that busy brain of his, but don't ask me what it is.
And what does this one look like to you, Mr. Carter?
Now, this looks very much like an ink blot, Doctor.
Would you give me your interpretation of it?
Why?
It might help me to understand you better.
Well, it's foolish.
Why?
Why what?
Why is it foolish?
Why is it not foolish?
Mr. Carter, I think you're playing games with me.
Am I?
Do you believe in God, Mr. Carter?
I think the question is, does God believe in me? I think it's an understatement that God is greatly more dependable than mankind. See, what I want before I die is some assurance that mankind is going to let the human race continue and possibly become civilized.
And how do you propose we start?
Well, I don't know how you're going to start, but I have started by having daily communion with God. I want his help.
And what has he told you, Mr. Carter?
Why don't you talk to him yourself and find out? Or aren't you on speaking terms with him?
Would you come into the next room, please?
Sure, I'd be delighted. Anything particular in mind?
Oh, just a few tests.
Well, I'm fascinated by this whole procedure. Well, what do we do next?
Would you mind sitting on this table, Mr. Carter?
Delighted.
According to your admittance report, you lost your wife less than a year ago. Is that right?
That's correct.
Did you love her?
I've never stopped loving her.
Would you hold your chin up and look straight ahead, please? You have one living daughter. Is that right?
No, she's dead.
But according to your report...
That silly report may say she's alive, but I say she's dead.
Mr. Carter, you're a very wealthy man, aren't you?
I've known richer men without a penny.
Relax your legs, please. How much would you say you're worth?
I don't know. What's the going price for a human being?
What I meant was your net worth, your total assets in dollars and cents.
Oh, I would say 16, 17 million, give or take a few. Because money is worthless for the shape of things in the world today.
Mr. Carter, will you make a fist like this and pull back against my grasp?
Huh?
What is the shape of the world today?
Great heavens, man, don't you know?
Oh, I'm not interested in what I think, Mr. Carter, but what you think.
Well, I think that's rather typical. Nobody is very interested in what they think nowadays.
Mr. Carter, will you bring your index fingers together like this, eyes closed?
Certainly. For your information, the world's current nuclear stockpile contains the equivalent of 30 billion tons of TNT. That is about 10 tons for every single human being on the Earth today.
Then you think we're headed for war?
No, not war. Annihilation is what we're headed for.
Excuse me. Yes? Oh, yes, have him come in.
Am I going to remain here for observation?
Well, I have a few more tests to make, but I don't see any reason why you should.
Oh, that's a shame. I think I'd have liked it around here. I'd especially enjoyed talking with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Cyrus. Doctor.
Oh, nice to meet you, Mr.
Nice to meet you, sir.
They won't let me stay, Sam.
Why should they?
You don't understand. I need psychiatric care.
Maybe you do, but I doubt it.
Why?
Because I think you're faking. Anyway, county hospitals are for people who haven't got enough money for private treatment.
In a few days, I may not have a dime.
What?
Someone once said that you don't really own anything until you give it away. Now, son, as my attorney, I want you to contact my accountants, have them sell all my stocks, dissolve all my interest in each and every firm, and I want the entire sum in cash.
You're going to give away $17 million?
Give it away? Certainly not. I'm going to burn it.
Burn it?
Cyrus, you can't be serious. Besides, it's against the law.
Fine, then I'll go to jail. But first, I'll have the biggest, brightest bonfire the world has ever seen.
Sit down. Take it easy. When the police arrested you, do you recall what they said to the girl?
They said that she was going to go to juvenile hall and that she had to talk to,
A probation officer?
Yeah.
Hey, you want a cigarette?
Thanks.
Well, if the Youth Guidance Center is holding her, there's a good chance they haven't bought her story.
Well, if they didn't buy her story, now why did they book me?
Let's start from the beginning, Nick. I want you to tell me every detail from the moment you first met this girl until you were booked.
Well, like I said before, I've been working the piano bar at the Club Indigo.
And you've been employed there for the past 4.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And on the night of May 20th, Angela Larkin walked in and sat at the piano bar, and that was the first time you ever saw her.
That's right. And I had no idea she was a kid, a 15-year-old kid.
Nick, think clearly. Do you remember exactly how she looked? How was she dressed?
The club is lit dark for mood or something. And she looked like a swinger, you know. The clothes, the makeup, the whole bit. Do you know what I mean?
Did the waiter serve her a drink?
She ordered a martini with 2 olives, I remember.
He asked for identification?
I don't know.
How many drinks did she have?
2. I think 2.
Did you offer to buy her a drink?
No.
That's a point in our favor, Nick.
What do you mean?
The fact that the management did not check her identification proves that she obviously looked old enough to buy a drink.
Mr. Tabor, I couldn't tell if she was 25, 30, or 35 years old.
I believe you. And if I have to go in front of a jury, I hope I can make them believe it too. No. You told me you left the club with her.
Yeah, she made a lot of requests for some good tunes, too. I told her I was more interested in concert than jazz piano, and she said she wanted to hear some concert piano, so I invited her up to my pad to hear some.
You have a piano in your apartment?
Yeah, but I wasn't playing the piano when the police were knocking on the door.
What were you doing?
I was kissing her. I was just kissing her. She's pretty, and I was low. You know how it is.
Did she try to resist you?
No, but I'll tell you the truth. When I kissed her, I knew.
Knew what?
I knew she wasn't just some kind of chick. I knew she was decent. You can tell, you know. That's why I felt so cheap and so dirty when she told him what she told him.
Do you have any idea who it was who notified the police?
Yeah, I think it was the landlady. She's something else, that one. She thinks all jazz musicians are kooks. She thinks we're all on something. As a matter of fact, a lot of people think jazz musicians are the lowest anyway.
Now, there's a very important question that I haven't asked, and you haven't offered to tell me. I must ask it, and I must have a completely honest answer. Did you try to force that girl to have intimate relations?
No.
She says you did.
I don't care what she said. She's lying.
Are you sure?
I'm telling you, she's lying. That girl is lying.
Well, as you said, Nick, it's going to be your word against hers.
Shantae? Yes. Shantae?
Will you come on? Trudy! Trudy!
Shantae?
Cyrus, come on, will you?
Mr. Benedict.
My dear Miss Wagner.
Hello, Mr. Carter.
Majestic is the Queen of Heaven, constant always, cheerful night and day, full of dignity and exceeding grace.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Get in there, Cyrus. Have I got a suit in the office?
Yes, in your closet.
I won't wear it. I feel perfectly comfortable then.
Get in the office, Cyrus. Trudy, who's Dr. Franklin?
Oh, you talked to him last week. His nurse was charged with the illegal distribution of harmful drugs.
Who said they were harmful drugs?
The newspapers.
Well, don't you say it. Get a hold of the accounting firm that takes care of the figures on Cyrus Carter's estate. I'll take care of these later.
Mr. Benedict, I saw the paper. Is Mr. Carter mentally ill?
Mentally ill is a phrase for doctors, Trudy.
Sapini Deuces Tecum. My, isn't that impressive?
Put that down. Get your feet off my desk and start behaving like an adult.
The behavior of the adults I've seen recently isn't worth emulating.
Oh, Cyrus. You insist on going back to your second childhood.
No, correction, my first childhood. If you remember correctly, I never had a childhood. I started bootblacking, selling papers when I was 5. By the time I was 6, I was a worried old man counting my money, wondering how to invest it for the future.
Cyrus, I don't have time to play games with you. I'm a busy man. Now, the court has decided to drop the charges against you for disturbing the peace. I want you to give me your word that you won't give me any more trouble or the police any more trouble.
Trouble? I've given nobody trouble. It's quite the opposite. All right. 80,000. I cleaned out one of my checking accounts this morning. Wasn't it nice of the bank to give these brand new bills? Now tell me, when can I expect to get the rest of the money from the stocks, bonds, real estate, and so forth?
If you expect me to do it for you, you're wasting your time. I have no intention of helping you burn your money.
Oh, I'm never going to burn this. This is too pitiful amount. I want one glorious bonfire. At high noon, say, in Union Square. That ought to do the trick. Now, when can I have the rest of the money?
Maybe I'm wrong about you, Cyrus. I've always thought of you as an eccentric. There's no law against that. But what you're doing and what you're saying is as perfect evidence of insanity as anything I've ever seen or heard.
I admit to being an eccentric, but I hold that to be my privilege under a free society. I resent regimentation and conformity.
All society demands a certain amount of conformity, even from you.
Really, why? If a man does not keep in step with his companion, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music that he hears. Henry David Thoreau believed that over 100 years ago. And the majority of people thought that he was out of step and out of his mind.
Did Henry David Thoreau try to destroy his worldly goods? Would he have burned a fortune which, given to the right causes, would have greatly helped humanity?
Oh, I know other philanthropists are given to worthy causes, but I don't see the results that they've gotten. The world has only become worse. But if I burn this money, there might, now I admit it's only an outside chance, but it might make people wake up and spend less time worrying about how to become rich and more time educating themselves to the true meaning of life.
Yes, Trudy.
Mr. Bradley's here to see you, Mr. Benedict. He says it's important.
Tell him I'll be right there. How are you, Jim?
Fine, Sam. Just fine. I was in the building. Thought I'd drop in.
Oh, what's up?
Well, it looks like you and I will be seeing each other in court. Amelia Carter has hired me as attorney for the petitioner. We're filing a petition for the commitment of Cyrus Carter.
She wants to have her father committed?
Well, that's what she has in mind. And I must say, I think she's right.
Excuse me for interrupting, but when will you gentlemen understand that I have no daughter?
Hi, I wasn't expecting you.
I just came from the Youth Guidance Center, Nick. They granted us a private hearing.
Yeah, that's great. Just great.
You mind if I come in? I'd like to go over the procedure with you.
The place is a mess.
Jumping bail is a pretty serious matter.
I wasn't jumping.
Have you been lying to me all along?
You let me explain.
You better explain, Mr. Correa. And make it fast. I spent 1 solid hour with the probation officer assigned to the Larkin girl. I kept telling him what a decent guy you were, how you were a victim of some pretty unfortunate circumstances. I spent 1 full hour making a damn fool of myself because I was stupid enough to believe your story.
All right, now you just hear me out.
Make it good, Nick.
I can't face him. I just can't face him.
Who?
My old man, my father. I try to keep this whole thing from him. He'll kill me if he believes I did anything to that kid. He's from the old world, the old country. He just doesn't understand. I could face him with any kind of charge, but not this kind. Robbery, murder even, but not this. My sister called me. She said he read about it in the paper and he was on his way over here.
Nick, I've got to know, did you or did you not do it?
I swear to you, I did not do it.
Hello, Papa.
Mr. Correa, I want to discuss this matter with you.
Who is he?
He's a lawyer. Mr. Tabor, he's my lawyer, Papa.
Why didn't you tell me about this, Nicole? Are you ashamed to face your father?
I just didn't want you to know, Papa.
Then you must be guilty of this hideous crime.
Mr. Correa, it's up to a court of law to decide his guilt or innocence.
No, Mr. Tabor. No court of law will decide his innocence. I will. You understand? When it comes to bringing up my son, I am the law.
You are his father, sir.
I will judge. Raise your head, Nicole. Look at me. Did you do this sinful thing?
I did not.
boy is innocent.
Sam, I'm sorry. Have you been waiting long?
No, not long. How are you, Amelia?
Well, fine. Never better.
Really?
All right. I knew you were representing him. I should have known you weren't here to pass the time of day.
Amelia, I'm here for a very fundamental reason. It makes no sense for you to drag this thing through the courts. It makes no sense for you two to be fighting each other. What happens between a father and daughter doesn't belong in the newspapers.
Daughter? I'm dead. It says so there.
What do you hope to gain by having him committed?
I hope to stop him from destroying everything he worked a lifetime to build.
Amelia, a couple of reporters called me this morning. You know what they said? They said that we hear Cyrus's daughter is trying to get the cash for herself before the old man buys the matches.
That's a lie. You know it. I don't need his money. I don't want it. He can give it to charity. Any charity. But to destroy. To destroy something that could make sick people well, build schools, save lives, that is insane.
That's up to the courts to decide. You'd have to prove that he's dangerous to himself or to the community. I don't think you can do that.
Well, what do you suggest I do?
I'll tell you what you can do. When you close this place tonight, you can come to my office and see your father.
No, Sam. No.
I'm not asking you, Amelia. I'm telling you. If you really think your father's money can accomplish something more than starting a bonfire, you'll be in my office tonight. That's the sane thing to do.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'd almost said absurd. Who is this imposter, anyway? Somebody hired? Somebody that owes you a favor? An old girlfriend, perhaps?
Will you stop those ridiculous antics and stand up?
No, this is very good for the spine. Though I prefer doing it on the good, soft earth. All right, I'll meet this young lady. I'll be very kind, courteous, my usual humble self. But I will not call her daughter, my boy.
Yes, Trudy. Oh, thank you. Come on now, get up. Come in, Amelia.
Hello, Father.
Well, aren't you going to introduce us, my boy? I don't believe we've met.
You've met. This is your daughter.
Well, I'm afraid you're mistaken, my boy. My daughter came to a horrible death when she was 22 years old.
How did she die?
Oh, in an automobile accident in Monte Carlo.
What's he talking about?
There was an accident.
She died. She never recovered from that flaming wreckage. Driving 100 miles an hour, I believe, at night along a very dangerous road. Oh, she was a wild one, Amelia was. She lived high, she lived fast, and she died.
All right, Cyrus. Come on. That's enough of this.
You knew my Amelia, didn't you? You handled her first divorce, I think. Or was it her second? Now, it seems to me you bailed her out of jail once. That wild party.
I did all of those things, and I tell you, this is your daughter.
All right, Sam. I give up. It's no use.
No, wait. Come on, Cyrus. I want the truth. Stop pretending, stop playing games.
You have forgotten about Amelia. Let me tell you about her. Now, it's very interesting. Now, where shall I begin? When she was born, when she rode her first pony, when she... No, I know. On her 21st birthday. The day she received $1 million from a trust that I set up. She took the money and she went to the Riviera. And there she married a count or a prince or something, I forget. And she divorced him after 3 months. And then she went on another spree, this time to Hong Kong. And there, I think it was a British playboy. She kept him on a string for almost a year.
Stop it. Do you hear me? Stop it. I don't deny I threw away his money, Sam. I don't deny that I wasted almost 10 years of my life. But for the past 2 years, I have been trying to ask his forgiveness, trying to prove that I am not the same person now that I was then.
Is this your way of punishing your daughter for her mistakes? Cyrus Carter, who preaches love and compassion for all of humanity, but can't find it in his heart to follow the same philosophy for his own flesh and blood?
If you and this young lady have something you want to discuss, don't let me interrupt. Now, if you want me, I'll be next door here, facing east.
I told you it wouldn't work, Sam.
I'm sorry, Amelia.
What's that old saying? Yes, I'll see you in court.
Thank you for coming.
Good night, Miss Carter.
Good night.
Mr. Carter's accountant just sent over his current financial statement. I knew you'd want to see it right away.
Thank you, Trudy.
Mr. Benedict, is Mr. Carter really going to burn all his money?
Oh, Cyrus Carter's going to court on an incompetency proceeding. I'm about to defend him.
You're worried, aren't you?
Yes, I'm worried, Trudy. I'm trying to figure how to lose a case. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Benedict.
Have the matron bring Angela Larkin in, please. Angela. This is Mr. Tabor. He's a lawyer, and I've given him permission to ask you some questions. I want you to answer them truthfully. Do you understand?
Yes.
Why don't you come sit down? Do you recognize this man?
Yes.
Now speak up.
Yes, he was the man I was with that night.
You realize the seriousness of the charges you brought against him?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Angela, Mr. Brelson and I don't in any way want to influence you. But I have some questions I have to ask. And I'd rather ask them to you here instead of a courtroom. Will you tell me exactly what happened the night you went to the Club Indigo?
Well, I just went there, that's all.
Do your parents allow you to go out to nightclubs alone at night, Angela?
Both my parents are dead. I live with my grandparents.
Did your grandparents consent to your going out alone?
Well, I didn't ask them if that's what you mean. They go to bed early, and, well, sometimes I get bored watching television, and, well, all my homework was done, and I just decided to get dressed and go out for a little while.
Angela, just how were you dressed that night, Angela?
It was a dress I borrowed from one of my girlfriends.
Was it the kind of dress you usually wear?
I don't understand that question.
Was it the kind of dress older women, you might say a more grown-up woman, would wear?
No.
Did you put on any makeup that night? Lipstick, eyeshadow, anything like that?
A little, I think. I really don't remember.
Did you order a drink when you were at the club?
I don't remember.
Try to remember, Angela.
No, I don't think so. I just went in to hear him play the piano.
Mr. Tabor, that's not true.
Mr. Corey, I'd appreciate it if you'd let Mr. Tabor finish.
Angela, the night you were at the Club Indigo, the waitress who served you at the piano bar stated she served you 2 martinis. Did you know it was against the law for a person under 21 to purchase alcoholic beverages in this state?
I suppose so.
Did you know, or did you just suppose so?
Yes, I knew, but I didn't drink them.
Then why did you order them?
Well, I don't know. I guess just to be grown up.
During the course of the evening when you ordered those drinks, didn't you also have your picture taken by a lady photographer in the club?
I think so.
I know you did. Come with me. I want to show you something, Angela. I had prints made of the picture, Angela. This is the blow-up. And this is the original. You bought one just like it. What happened to it?
I threw it away. I was afraid my grandfather'd find it.
I want you to look at these pictures, Angela.
No, why do I have to? Please, just leave me alone.
I'm sorry, Angela, but I have to get the truth from you. I want you to know what might happen if I have to take these pictures into court with me. Look at them. And if I had to go to court, Angela, I would insist that you dress exactly the way you did the night that Nicholas Correa asked you to his room. I would insist the lights be turned down low like they were in the club.
Played such wonderful piano. I didn't want to ever go home. And when the police came to his apartment, I was so scared I didn't know what to say.
Did Nicholas Correa ask you to his apartment?
Yes, but I wouldn't have gone unless I thought he was nice. Well, decent.
And was he?
Yes.
Thank you, Angela. Mr. Correa, I'm going to call the district attorney's office and request that the charges against you be dropped. And I'm going to get in touch with your grandparents and see if we can work this thing out.
Will I have to go to jail?
No, but we may have to put you on probation for a while.
I'm sorry.
Now, Dr. Michaels, in conducting the mental examination of Cyrus Carter, did he tell you that his daughter Amelia Carter was dead?
Yes, he did.
I see. And did he also tell you that he was dissolving his entire financial interest amounting to $17 million? And that when he received the money, he was going to burn it?
Yes, he did.
Doctor, is that the act of merely an eccentric old man?
Mr. Bradley, there are many people who will go to the wildest extremes to protest the situation of the world today. As an individual, I consider some forms of protest a very healthy attitude. Eccentric, perhaps, but healthy.
Now, Mr. Carter's refusal to recognize his own daughter and his insistence that she died in an automobile accident, is that a healthy attitude?
No.
Well, would you say that Mr. Carter's malingering?
It's possible. I would need a great deal more time with him to be sure about that.
Doctor, do I understand you correctly? You would need a great deal more time to make certain just how sick Mr. Carter really is.
That's correct. Certainly, Mr. Carter has shown neurotic symptoms. How severe his neurosis may be can only be determined on the basis of more extensive examination.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Benedict, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Dr. Michaels, and thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to call Cyrus Carter to the stand.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Benedict.
Mr. Carter, would you take the stand, please?
You solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in this matter pending before this court?
I do.
Mr. Carter, this is not a court in the sense of a trial court. This is a hearing to decide if the petitioner, your daughter, has sufficient grounds to have you committed to a mental institution. Now, if you desire, Mr. Carter, you may have a jury trial. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, proceed, Mr. Benedict.
Mr. Carter, how old are you?
I was 70 years old on the 12th of June. You know that, my boy.
Just answer the questions, please, Mr. Carter.
Forgive me.
Where do you live, Mr. Carter?
In a very confused world, Mr. Benedict.
Is the world confused, Mr. Carter? Or are you confused?
The world is confused. And I would like to help straighten it out.
And how do you propose to do that?
I have many ways. Prayer, for one.
And burning $17 million?
If it'll wake up my fellow man to the fact that he's become a greedy, materialistic animal, yes. Money cannot buy happiness, peace, decency, tranquility. Money, my dear boy, cannot buy survival.
Mr. Carter, do you recognize the young woman sitting there with Mr. Bradley?
I see her, if that's what you mean.
Do you know her?
Well, I met her in the office. She's a very pleasant young woman.
Mr. Carter, I've represented you for some years. Is that not right?
That's right.
As you know, I have in my vault at the office all of your personal papers and records. I brought with me today one of those papers. It is a birth certificate saying that Amelia Carter is your daughter and that you, Cyrus Carter, are her father. Would you like to examine this document?
My dear boy, my daughter is dead.
Your Honor, may I have a 5-minute recess?
All right, Mr. Benedict. 5-minute recess.
Come on, Cyrus. Come on with me. Well, I guess a lawyer has to adopt a philosophical attitude about such things or he'll tear himself to pieces.
You're trying to tell me something?
Maybe the best way to say it is you can't win them all.
We'll lose?
Well, you heard the doctor's testimony, didn't you? He says he needs more time. How much time? I don't know. You don't know. They don't know. Could take a month or two to decide your case. Maybe even a year or two. Who can say?
Wait a minute. You heard Dr. Michaels say...
Oh, about healthy protests. Well, you can protest all you want to. But your own flesh and blood is sitting out there in that courtroom, and you refuse to recognize her.
My daughter is dead.
Well, why argue about it? You've got as much right to your opinion about her as you have to your opinion about mankind's chances for survival. Anyway, you can afford the best psychiatric treatment in the world. Who knows, you may get to like it there. Good food, good beds, plenty of people to talk to. All things considered, it's not a bad way to spend your declining years.
Declining years? I'm as strong as an ox. I'm not declining, I'm just beginning. I got more vitality now than I had when I was 60.
Good. You'll live a long time in the hospital. I'll come to visit you whenever I can. Oh, incidentally, the filing of that petition by that woman, whoever she is, automatically ties up the estate. You won't be able to get a penny now, either for burning or for spending.
I know your tricks. You're trying to con me. I've seen it in the courtroom. The master. Well, you can't frighten me.
Well, good. A man about to be confined to a mental institution needs all the courage he can get. As I said before, you can't win them all.
Some lawyer. Well, we're all fallible mortal men, aren't we, Amelia?
All right, gentlemen, we may proceed.
Your Honor, may I recall Cyrus Carter to the stand?
Yes, very well.
Mr. Carter, do you now admit that Amelia Carter, the woman you kissed a moment ago, is your daughter?
I do.
Your Honor, I submit that Cyrus Carter is not insane.
Mr. Bradley, under all the circumstances and after listening to the evidence, I see no necessity for committing Mr. Carter to any state or private institution. However, I do see the need of protecting his estate. Therefore, if Mr. Benedict has no objection, I will now make an order.
I have no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Then let the record show that on the application of Amelia Carter for the guardianship of Cyrus Carter, I've heard the evidence and I'm convinced that Miss Carter is fully qualified and competent to handle the estate of her father. Therefore, I hereby appoint Miss Amelia Carter guardian of the estate of Mr. Cyrus Carter. Is that agreeable, gentlemen?
Agreeable.
Agreeable, Your Honor.
This court stands recessed.
Well, work.
Yes.
Now, Cyrus, remember, there are reporters outside. Absolutely no comment.
Goodbye, Mr. Carter.
Good luck. Goodbye,
Goodbye.
Mr.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Goodbye. Bring on the
Drinks are
report.
on you, you know.
What about it, Sam? Is he off his rocker?
Are they committing him, Sam?
Hold it now. The court has appointed Miss Amelia Carter, executor of the estate of Mr. Cyrus Carter.
What about it, Mr. Carter? How does it feel to lose control of $17 million?
Are you really crazy, Mr. Carter, or aren't you?
Just a minute, gentlemen. Mr. Carter has no comment.
Indeed, I do have a comment. Now, gentlemen, you've questioned me about my sanity. I'd like to reply to the question. Now, I do not know if I am insane, but I sincerely hope that I am. Because if I am sane, then the rest of the world that I see around me must be insane, and I certainly wouldn't wish that to be. Have you got that straight? That's all.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay,
That's
Sam.
you have your Thank you very much. Thank you. Come on, Cyrus. I'll drive you back to your office.
My office? Do you think I'm going back to that drone's existence? Do you think I'm going to wear these clothes again? I feel like I'm tied to a hitching post.
Come on, put your coat on.
No, listen, Sam, I have an appointment with somebody in the park. He and I are going to meet under a tree and have a long, long talk. Now, why don't you join us? I have a feeling that he'd enjoy meeting a lawyer. You see, there probably aren't any up there.
Have you got another toga?
That's right.